Well, hello, my friends. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome back. Today, I wanted to tell you about a 2025 challenge that I'm going to be doing that is going to help me save money this year. And I'd love to invite you to join me in this challenge. And it's not what you think it is. So I'm pretty sure when I told you I was doing a financial challenge, you didn't first think of a decluttering challenge. I think most of us would think that decluttering or throwing things out or giving things away might actually have the opposite effect of saving money. But I want you to hear me out. I'm going to give you a few reasons why doing a decluttering challenge like this will help you save money over the course of the year. And I want to just point out that this chart that I'm filling in is a free download, and I'll have a link to that in the description below. And if you appreciate the freebies that I'm giving you or the advice that I'm giving you, please go ahead and subscribe. So, why will a declutter challenge help us save money? Well, this is a very good question. So let me give you a few reasons, and then I'll talk through how to use this decluttering challenge worksheet. So number one, when you declutter, you learn to spend less on buying things that you already own, but you can't find. So one of the benefits of decluttering is that you find all of those items that you would otherwise have to purchase again. So I don't know if you've ever done this, but maybe you, like me, have purchased a second thing that of something you already have, a second version of it, like a second pair of scissors. Just this last week, I thought I was completely out of stamps, and I bought a new book of stamps. And then I got home, and my son was looking in my desk drawer, and he pulled out a half-used book of stamps. I didn't have to buy those stamps yet, but thankfully, I will use them in the future. That's an item that's consumable. But an item like a pair of scissors, that is not consumable. You could get by with just one pair of scissors for a very long time. So when you buy a second pair now, or a third pair, or a fourth pair, or even a fifth pair, I mean, most of us probably have 4 or 5 pairs of scissors in our house. Well, you're doubling your expenditures. So, one of the reasons decluttering can help us is because we spend less on buying things we already own but can't find. And there's a similar thing to that. So number 2 is that we will spend less buying things we already owned that were destroyed because they were stored improperly. So one of the things that happens when our house gets very cluttered, we run out of space in our closets or our attic or our basement, is things don't get stored properly, and then we end up with things that are destroyed. So I want to encourage you that if you do this decluttering challenge, one of the things that will help you is you will be storing things properly. You will have a little more space in all of your closets in your storage area, and things won't be as easily destroyed or broken. What's a third reason why we might save money if we really put our heart and effort into decluttering? And that is that we are less likely to buy things we don't need when we see all the money we wasted on things that we aren't currently using. So we sort of reconfigure our view of things. Materialism is an issue no matter how much money we make, no matter how many items we have. Our hearts can get attached to material items. And when we actively declutter our house, we start to feel guilty about all those things that we spent money on that we actually don't use, nor do we love. So I think that's another good reason to declutter. But here's another one. If you declutter your house, you probably won't have to pay for storage or for a bigger house. Now, I don't know what storage units cost. I've never rented a storage unit in my life, so I don't know how expensive it is, but I do know what it's like to stand in the middle of my house and think, this house is too small. Either I have to declutter or we're going to have to get a bigger house. And that often happens when your family is growing. Maybe you have 3 children, then you have 4, then 5, then 6. And the items that those children need or use or collect just keep multiplying. And eventually you realize you have to do something. You're either going to have to declutter or buy a new house. So that will save you money. Decluttering will save you money on trying to either rent storage units or buy a bigger house. Okay, so I want to tell you about what this decluttering challenge is. And as you look at the sheet of paper that I have there, you can see that I have 12 different months, and there are 144 little squares under each month. So you have 144 items that you can declutter per month. Now, honestly, I don't have any rules for this. I think for me, if I fill up one month, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next one in case I'm a little under in that month. My goal is not that you know exactly what items you are decluttering. My goal is more that we just actively declutter throughout the year, and that each month we're spending some time going through some part of our house and decluttering the items we no longer need. You can do this in a couple of different ways. And if you are looking at my decluttering challenge worksheet there, you will see that I'm using several different colors. And I'm going to show you that in just a little bit of time. I have a key that I have made for myself with different colors for different types of things in my home. Now, how will that help me? Well, if I look at January's and I see, wow, that's mostly red, that means most of what I got rid of in January was clothes and shoes and items like that. Then in February, I know that I should probably focus my efforts on a different part of my house. So maybe say on my health and beauty aids or my kitchen or some other thing, my bookshelves perhaps. Although I hate giving away books. I don't know if you're like that, but books are precious to me. It's physically painful anytime I declutter a book. But anyway, so each month you can kind of, like the colors you don't have to do, you can just do it all one color. But for me, it's just going to help me see which portions of my belongings I've already focused on and what I still need to do. It will also help me to know where I tend to accumulate the most unused belongings. So if I get to the end of the year and it's mostly red, I'm going to know that I really need to cut back on clothes. And like I said before, maybe I need to buy more good quality items instead of just more quantity of items. So now that's the way I'm doing it. You can feel free to do it that way or not as you see fit. Now, does everyone need to do this? Absolutely not. If you happen to be the minimal mom, or if you have already radically decluttered your house, you know what? Just move on in life. You don't need to be doing this. But if you are overwhelmed with the clutter in your house, this might be a good thing for you to do. Now, if your life is very chaotic right now, if you have extra responsibilities in your life right now, this might be an idea you want to set aside, and maybe you'll think to yourself, well, I'm not going to start it now, but in July, things will be easier and I'll start it then. Or maybe you want to think to yourself, I'm going to put this off until next year. Just, keep track of that idea and don't let it fall to the wayside. I would say that for me, my house is moderately cluttered. So one of the things that happened to us is several years ago during COVID, we had to start all over again with what we had in a couple of suitcases each and the clothes on our backs. And that was a very unusual and challenging situation. And perhaps that's part of the reason why I wanted to start this channel. I know what it's like to have to outfit an entire family and an entire house from zero, and how to do it frugally. And honestly, as I look around my house, it's a miracle. God has done a miracle in my house. Every item, I can probably tell you the story behind it, how we got it. A lot of it was gifted to us, and a lot of it was thrifted. When we started trying to outfit our home and our family, that was the middle of COVID, and things were selling pretty inexpensively on Facebook Marketplace. I could get furniture for not too much money. And so I was flipping some furniture. I was teaching my children how to, paint or sand down and revarnish furniture. And we had a lot of good family experiences. But I'm saying all that to say, my house doesn't have tons of extra in it, but I definitely can look around in my bedroom or in my closet and say, wow, I need to get rid of probably 1/3 of this stuff. There's too much stuff. In the process of trying to outfit our home, obviously we ended up with a lot of stuff that wouldn't have been our first choice. And over time, I've been able to replace it. So I view that as placeholder items. I don't know if you've ever heard that term before, but where the item that you're using right now in your home is just sort of a placeholder until you've saved enough money to buy the thing you actually want, or until you find it for a good price. And I honestly have a lot of placeholder items in this house, and I'm not in a hurry to replace them. Just as those things come to me, I upgrade. So, and I'm really I just want to say this to say, all praise to God. The fact that I have extra to give away, to donate, to sell, that is all thanks to God. God has truly remarkably provided for me and my family. And we have not gone into debt over that. In fact, in all the years that I've been married to my husband, the only debt we've ever had has been a mortgage. And I consider that an investment, not necessarily a debt, although it is a debt, and we pay that off as quickly as we can. But we've never had even 1 month of late credit card payments. We have just never been in debt, period. And I do see a lot of videos here on YouTube about getting out of debt, and my heart just aches because I know what it's like. I know what it's like to live debt-free. And so I invite you to join me on this declutter challenge. And also I invite you to just join me on this Faithful Family Finances challenge. And we're going to talk in the future about things like debt and how to stay out of it and how to get out of it if you're in it. We're going to talk about, wise uses of our money, how to save money, how to spend money properly. And I think we're going to have a good journey. So I invite you to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and come along with me on my journey